Hey guys, this is George. I'm back with a brand new episode of D-Ron Comics, and today I'm going to give you my spoiler-filled rant review on the new X-Men movie Dark Phoenix.
Doing space missions now. Cool.
No, I said spoiler-filled rant review Dark Phoenix.
One. Whiplash.
Whatever. Alright guys, we're back. So I'm going to jump right into the spoilers here. So if you don't want to hear any of the spoilers, now's your time to back out. Come back to this video when you're done watching the movie. Alright, so really I only have bad things to say about this movie. I'll talk about what I liked about the movie at the very end, but we're going to jump right into the hate, and there's a lot of it. So here we go. So this movie starts off really with, showing Jean Grey in this terrible car accident that she caused. It killed her parents, or at least her mom, and it was just not good. You see Professor X pick her up, and he's kind of charming, and he's, sympathetic to her, and, he wants to bring her into the Institute. So then we kind of fast forward. I think we're in 1991 or 92. I don't remember the year. Kind of wish I didn't remember the movie, but, NASA, they're going up into space, and then they encounter this purplish glob looking shit out there. It's not good. Houston, we have a problem. They're not doing good. So then you see Professor X watching it on TV, and you see the little light bulb go off in his head. Ooh. And right away you can see that there's some tension there between Professor X and Beast and Mystique. They're like, oh, we shouldn't do this. And he's like, we should do this. So anyways, they go up there. They save the day. Big dramatic scene. Nightcrawler kind of fucks up. He is kind of slow with his teleportation, and he just leaves Jean in the space shuttle to die as this big purpley globby fiery mess is heading right towards her, and she gets her shit kicked in. Anyways, that is how she becomes Phoenix in this movie. She absorbs this energy thing from space. It just gets sucked right into her, and they bring her back to the ship, and everything's fine. But that brings me into a huge continuity problem. The only scene that I liked in X-Men Apocalypse was watching Jean Grey use the Phoenix Force on Apocalypse. I would prefer that she absorb it in outer space. That's not the story that they've already given us. They've given us a story that she has this. It's a mutant ability, not an alien life form that is, inhabiting her body. So anyways, while the X-Men are headed up to space, you see the entire world is like cheering them on. They're like super excited. The news is talking about it. Oh, good, the X-Men are here to save the day. Like, what the fuck happened? You hate mutants. Why are they all of a sudden cool? It shouldn't be the thing, man. And this is coming from the events of X-Men Apocalypse, where the entire world nearly cracked in half because Magneto was messing with the magnetism and shit. So that didn't make any damn sense at all. Alright, so now they're back from outer space. They've landed. Everyone's happy. They saved the fucking day. Whoop-de-doo. Everyone's happy except for Mystique. Apparently, she's all mad that Chuck is pimping out the X-Men to the United States government to do all their, dangerous handiwork and whatnot. He's all like, hey, why don't you chill or come up with a better solution? At least that's how I remember it. Now, all the students in the X-Mansion and whatnot, they're having this weird little bonfire thing going on in the woods. Dazzler, she's singing and making light, rain and whatnot. Anyways, Jean is hitting that booze really hard, which, I'm into that. So she starts, and then BAM! She fucks everyone up. They're all fucked up. But, she's all like, oh, Scott. But you won't. I can't control my shit. You might want to get a depend on that. So that's when she's like trying to sleep it off and whatnot because she drank too much and she nearly killed everyone. And Charles is like, I'm going to get up in your mind, girl. So he can't do it now without Cerebro. Her powers have, they're over 9,000. So he's tinkering around in there and he like trips over some shit and like unlocks the memories of her killing her mom and messing up her dad. She wakes up and she ain't too happy about the situation. She looks at Scott and she goes, I gotta go, son. So she flies off and goes and tries to visit her dad, who she thought was dead this whole time. Dad, kind of plays kind of nice and is like, oh, Jean, great. don't you come on in? And that's when she starts reading his mind and realizes that he is afraid of her and is not very happy that she's come knocking at his door. So the X-Men roll up in their jet and they're all like, hey, Jean, come with us or we'll try and like kick your ass and whatnot. Jean has no part in that. Just wastes the entire team. Mystique all creeps up to her like, hey, Jean, breathe. The bam! Mystique, dead. She gets impaled on like some fence or some shit like that. She's all fucked up. And then Jean flies off again. It's not like she's possessed by the demon force, Phoenix, whatever you want to call it. She is just acting out because she has these powers and she has some repressed memories pop up. That is what is leading her to lose control and freak out and kill Mystique. So really what you're looking at is the difference between listening to the devil on your shoulder and having the devil on your shoulder crawl into your butthole and start using you as a puppet. She's not the puppet mode. It's just on her shoulder and she's listening to it. Then you come into Jessica Chastain's character, who is just a terrible, terrible villain. It's this character named Vuk that's like a Dabari race or some shit like that. But you know what I had to do? I had to look that shit up because it's fucking obscure and it doesn't mean anything to this story other than they wanted to have a villain. The villain should have been the Phoenix Force that was inside of her. Phoenix, the being Phoenix should have been the villain. And that's what could have driven a compelling story is, you know, how do we save our friend, our loved one, Jean Grey, while protecting the Earth? You know, that is the story. The story is not, oh, Jean's such a bitch now that she's got these superpowers. Man, this is a fucking bad movie. So that brings me to another annoying character. You got Magneto. So Jean Grey like flies in, you know, this terrible CGI flying effect. She just kind of like, so Jean Grey finds Magneto. He's living on some land that the U.S. government gave him for some reason. I don't know why they haven't nuked it yet, because Magneto always fucks up. Anyways, Jean Grey, she's coming into his little compound. She's soaked in blood, and, you know, she's talking to Magneto. She's like, hey, Magneto, how did you stop hurting people? Magneto's all like, well, you know, you can live your life with revenge in your heart and all this other shit, but then you kill a bunch of motherfuckers and you still feel like an asshole afterwards. So I stopped. And she's all like, do you still feel like an asshole? And he's all like, hey, what's all that blood on your shirt? Then before you know it, these helicopters are flying in out of nowhere, and a non-possessed Jean Grey, just an angry and confused Jean Grey, starts wrecking shop. A lot of people probably died in that incident. And you see kind of a cool scene of Magneto struggling to magnetize this helicopter away from Jean Grey, and he's just struggling like he's never struggled before. But that's a brief moment, a brief kind of cool moment in a really shit movie. Anyways, he's all like, you gotta go, bitch. So she flies off. It looks like shit. So now Mystique's dead, right? And they're at her funeral, you know, Professor X and Beast and all the other X-Men. And then after the funeral, Beast and Professor X are sitting in the kitchen. And Professor X is trying to do his Professor X thing. He's kind of trying to smooth talk it. And, you know, oh, you know, this is where I first met Mystique. And Beast, who I kind of get where he's upset, but you'd think that a person like Beast, like Hank McCoy, could find it within himself to not just say the worst possible thing. He pretty much says, I loved Mystique, and it's your fault that she's dead now. And Professor X is all like, sorry? Motherfucker, you know I could erase your mind like a VHS tape with a big old magnet, right? Beast is all like, do something. So that leads Beast to just like take off. He steals the X-Jet. He goes and finds Magneto, tells Magneto, hey, did you know Mystique is dead? And he's like, oh, word? Yeah, word. And you know who did it? It was Jean Grey. He's all like, oh, well, I know I just gave Jean Grey this really poignant speech about not killing people based on solely on revenge, but I feel like killing her. Let's go kill her. Beast is all like, yeah, I agree. Let's go kill her. How Beast-like is that? Yeah, let's go kill her. Fuck you. So anyways, Jessica Chastain, Vuk, whatever the fuck you want to call it, starts, you know, messing with Jean and kind of, you know, like, you know, egging her on a little bit. Once again, devil on the shoulder. Boom. So anyways, Magneto, he's got some lackeys. He's got Beasts with him. They're in New York. That's where Phoenix, Jean Grey is now. They're in New York. and they're getting ready to just like walk up to her house and straight up kill her. So anyways, the X-Men show up to try and stop Beast, Magneto, and nameless lackeys from killing Jean Grey. You know, Professor X gives a speech. That's when Magneto says, "There's always a speech, Charles, and no one gives a shit." Just really terrible dialogue. The next piece of terrible dialogue was actually my favorite part of the movie. Cyclops like steps up and goes, "Hey, if you touch her, I will fucking kill you," which I really appreciated. That's my kind of language right there. F-bombs, they're the best. So they fight for a bit. It's just awful. They're trying to cross the street. That's like half the battle. They're getting hit by cars and shit. So anyways, everyone gets into a fight. Then the U.S. government shows up and, starts, putting the collars on people, and they capture all the X-Men. They're captured now. They're fucked. So now we're speeding down this train, right? This like prison train. It's a cool train. It sucks. So for whatever reason, instead of like putting them in like containment cells and isolating them, they're all sitting in a row facing each other. And, they get to hear Professor X talk about, "Oh, this really wasn't Jean's fault." It was her fault, by the way. "It wasn't Jean. We gotta save Jean." And then Magneto and Beast flip-flop. And they're like, "Oh, good point." Now they're cool. So now they start fighting the Devara creatures. They're jumping on the train. It's not the worst part of the movie. If I was going to say there was a highlight, I thought the train scene where they're fighting on the train was actually kind of cool. I did actually like that a little bit. Not nearly enough to call it a good movie, but it was okay to watch. You got to see Cyclops do some shit. You got to see Storm do some shit. Nightcrawler, he did a whole bunch of shit. Magneto was doing a bunch of stuff. And they fought for a little while. It was alright. It wasn't the worst. Anyways, Jessica Chastain gets back on the train, and she's got like part of the Phoenix power in her. I guess I could have told you about that earlier, but I forgot. Whatever. She starts kicking everyone's ass. It ain't good. Eventually they get to Jean. She's like sleeping or something. She's taking a little power nap. Train rides can be tough. They wake her up. She starts fighting with Jessica Chastain. I think the train crashes. I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember. And there's a reason why I don't remember. Because, like I keep saying, the movie sucks. It sucks a lot. It's a really bad movie, guys. So bad. Terrible, this movie. Terrible. Anyway, so now they're off the train. Devaris are fighting Phoenix. Phoenix is just... She's like Neo level right now. She can't be hit. Even when they hit her, it doesn't matter. They stab her, it don't matter. She's fine. She's kicking everyone's ass. And Phoenix grabs Jessica Chastain. They fly up into space. And they do the whole, "Oh, you want this power? You can have it." And she just like, bleh, leaks all the purple power onto Jessica Chastain. Bam! They blow up! And Jean Grey is dead now. Struggling to find the point in this movie. Yeah, it's just so bad. I don't even know if they had one. Anyways, sad. Jean's dead now. Beast is now running the Xavier Institute because of reasons. One of those reasons is Xavier is retired now because he feels bad for being a dick and erasing Jean's memories and starting the whole crappy Phoenix saga. So Magneto and Chuck, they're playing chess like they often do. And you see a Firebird floating around in the sky. Is Jean dead now? I don't know. And we'll never know. Because that was the end of the franchise. It went out with a whimper. So, sorry this review was so late coming out to you guys. But if I can prevent just one person from watching this movie, I will feel that I've done my part and my good deed for the day. Alright, go watch another movie other than Dark Phoenix.